How's it going, Jets fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Ryan Moran. Quickly want to give you guys an update on the Zach Wilson injury status. Yesterday was probably the worst case scenario for this entire team. I know we saw some good performances in the backup squad. We saw some good moments, but overall, that first team offense really just concerned me all around, just mainly because the receivers look great. Conklin looked awesome. Offensive line interior was better. Tackles awful, obviously, because he didn't have Fant or Dwayne Brown in there just yet. But that Zach Wilson moment when he made that juke, as he was doing that, as he was running toward that defender, I yelled out. I was watching with some other friends. I was like, he better not try and juke this guy out because he's going to get hurt. Literally jukes, falls to the ground injured. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I cannot believe he just did that. Like, it's preseason, bro. Go to the ground. Do not risk your health in a preseason game. I know it's competitive. You want to do something, probably not thinking about it in the moment. But he escaped, just dodged an absolute missile. Like, not even a bullet. He dodged a nuclear bomb. So the thought was he may have torn his ACL. That is not the case, thank God. So apparently, according to Brian Costello, a couple other reporters are now saying it, he has a bone bruise on his knee, and he also tore his meniscus. So they're saying he'll be out 2 to 4 weeks, and then he'll probably make a return. I imagine he'll probably be back after about a month, right? Torn meniscus isn't nearly as bad as ACL. The bone bruise just needs to heal, just needs time, essentially. They'll put his leg, they'll wrap it up, they'll make sure it's good. This was best case scenario for Jets fans, okay? Not having Zach Wilson this year would have been devastating, not because the Jets are going to be good, but because Zach Wilson needs that time to get better. He needs that time to be in his developmental process and learning and getting better so that year 3 you guys can make the playoffs. The Jets team can make the playoffs. Let me just tell me about that moment for you. When you saw that happen, what was your reaction? And, now hearing about the good news, what are you thinking about it?
For sure. I mean, in the moment, it was a ton to process. I mean, you're thinking just what a disaster of a start. Obviously, the Quincy Williams penalty, I think, put a huge dent and impacted this entire game. Just a dumb play that even Saleh post-game sounded all fun. And I don't think you saw that from Saleh last year. So that was definitely something encouraging to see from his own growth. Now, the defense, the first 2 drives looked abysmal, and I still think they got a lot to prove. And I think it put Zach in this offense in a hole right away. I think these preseason games, you never know how many opportunities the starting unit is going to get. And I think you could sense that from the offense right away. I mean, they're pinned back in the 3rd down, which Zach actually converted to Tyler Conklin, who looked good in his first game with the Jets. But I think all along, you just kind of felt like you didn't want to see the defense get beat as bad as they did, and then the offense go 3 and out or not put up points. And, that interception is obviously a terrible play that also impacted and I think probably led to the injury because at that point, he's competitive. He's trying to prove himself. What's being said about him after that interception. And he just tries to make a play. And in that moment, I mean, you think the worst, obviously. I mean, you see non-contact knee injury, like you said, some sort of ACL injury. And looks like for once, the Jets caught a break and it's going to be 2 to 4 weeks with like you said, Brian Costello was the most recent one with the bone bruise and torn meniscus. So, hopefully he's, back in by the first game of the regular season. I mean, I think that's what we all want to see. And the main thing is just really getting an idea on who Zach is this year. To really go into this year and not see him play at all would have been the absolute worst case scenario. And it looks like the Jets might have, caught a break here.
They definitely caught a break. This was a godsend. This was the football god saying, let's scare the shit out of them and then bless them with the best news they've ever heard. After the Mekhi Becton injury, and, that came out of nowhere, and they were like, yeah, we don't think it's that serious. And then suddenly it's a, fractured kneecaps. You're like, okay, they were obviously a little bit more low-key about it this time around, a little bit more like, let's wait and see. So, damn, that waiting process, I was refreshing Twitter for like an hour trying to figure out what was going on. Then, you're seeing conflicting reports. You're seeing on one side of it, you're saying, oh, he tore his ACL. And then on the other side, you're saying, let's wait and see. The ACL's intact. And you're like, does anyone know what's happening here? Like, it's unbelievable. So this was a big moment. Woke up, checked that, made sure that, he was okay. So that's going to save the Jets season because, again, this is about his growth and development. This is not about making the playoffs this year. This is about Joe Flacco not starting games for the Jets. This is about not wasting time. Yes, the Jets still have a lot of young pieces that are going to develop and grow. They have guys like Sauce. They have guys like Jermaine Johnson. They have guys that are on the up. But you're also wasting a year from Quinnen Williams. Now you're in his 5th year option. You're wasting a year from Fant. You're wasting years here for some of these guys. CJ Mosley, even Corey Davis. So This is a big moment for Jets fans because Zach Wilson can now restart that rehabilitation process. It'll only take a couple of weeks. He'll be fine. He's going to be okay. He'll return. He'll have a full season. Maybe he'll miss 1-2 weeks max of the regular season just as a precautionary measure. But I'll tell you what, you're not going to see him running anytime soon. He's going to be pretty much a pure pocket passer. You're not going to see him be extending plays with his legs like this. They're going to say, dude, stay in the pocket, roll out. Do not try and beat with your legs. Throw the ball away if you have to. Do not do this again. It's not worth it for your growth and development to get injured like this. But I will say, like you said, the defense really struggled. The first team defense looked pretty bad. Of course, they didn't have DJ Reed, so that's a huge loss there. Did Carl Lawson play a little bit yesterday?
It was like John Franklin Myers didn't dress. Mosley wasn't out there. Carl really wasn't out there.
We're not
Quinton had that one pressure early, but that was about it.
Right. So, that's what to expect if you don't have Mosley, you don't have Carl, really. You don't have DJ Reed. Those are your three best players, really. So not surprised. Quincy Williams definitely had a big hit, but stupid decision. Nick Sirianni was blowing the fuck up. Sorry for my language there, but he really was blowing the fuck up. And he was going crazy, looking at Robert Saleh. He was yelling at him across the field. That was such a dumb decision. I mean, I don't know how you understand. Like, how do you not see the boundary there? He's like, I didn't see the boundary. I'm like, dude, you were out of bounds. Jalen Hurts had stopped running. Like, that was just such a dumb play. And like you said, it was nice to see that Saleh was, at least holding him accountable afterward. And that's definitely gonna come crashing down on his head a little bit. So, man, just a weight off our shoulders this morning to hear that Zach is okay. Definitely not the game we wanted to see. We didn't really learn altogether that much about this team. What I will say Breece Hall looked great. He had some really nice runs. Tyler Conklin looked great. He was all over the field. He was making plays. That's what you want to see. Is there anyone else that really caught your eye that stood out?
I think Garrett Wilson showed immediately that he belongs. I mean, he was consistently creating separation, had 2 good catches. Elijah Moore had that one really good route before Zach's injury on that 3rd down. And I think Zach, if there was one good thing to take from the game, I mean, he was calm, cool, collected on 3rd down and converted. He took what was there, showed patience on the throws to Conklin and Elijah. It's just that interception. And then obviously the, decision to stay in bounds on that run that really threw things off. But Jeremy Ruckert as well. I mean, you definitely saw his touchdown. I think he's going to have a role right away as a blocker for this offense. You said Breece Hall, obviously that one run that he bounced outside on 3rd and 1 was really nice. Defensively, I mean, Tanzel Smart is a guy who spent last year on the practice squad, and he really shined in the preseason last year and had 2 sacks last night. Just adds to the depth of this defensive line, and really going to be fascinating to see how that position group ends up playing out. And there wasn't really too much else. I felt like, a couple of the linebackers, I mean, Jamie and Sherwood, Delshon Phillips were a bit active, which was good to see. And it's another thing, just Quincy Williams is going to have to really play with better awareness, better pursuit, better control, because I think that especially with Quan, that there's guys that are coming to take reps from him. And that penalty last night was definitely not good. But overall, I mean, they ended up winning the game. But like you said, you really did not want to see some of the things, and you're not really able to take away ideally what we wanted to from this first game.
Not at all, but luckily we have 2 more, and hopefully the Jets learned a lesson not to start your players for too many snaps. The only reason Zach Wilson was out there was because he threw that pick, and they wanted to get him more action because he was on the field for 3 snaps. So they were like, all right, let's just get him out there, basically just reset that entire sequence, give him a chance to put something good together, and then immediately it's just – man, the luck of the Jets is just undefeated, man. It is insane to me how unlucky this team is. But I'll tell you what, Zach Wilson's going to be okay, and that's all you can ask for this morning. But guys, would love to your responses, your opinions, how you feel after learning that Zach Wilson's going to be okay, and he'll be able to play this season. Definitely want to hear your thoughts and perspectives below in the YouTube comments. So appreciate that as always. But make sure to like and subscribe. Daily content. Take a look at the game tomorrow. We'll start to break down some of the film as we get it, and see some of these individual performers, and get you guys the necessary information so you can learn more about the team as always. So appreciate that. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Jets episode.